done with hers, and her morning live went 8 hours. So her morning live became an afternoon live, so I am now here. And how art thee? Now, I'll have to get Chad up and wait for people to come in because no one expected me. Okay, there I am. So yes, we will talk Leticia for just a little while. Hello, Kentucky. How are you today? I hope you're very well. I'm just sitting here on our own. Nicolina finished her live, and in reality, this won't be a long live because there's really not much to say. There's the basic facts of the matter. There's going to be a little entertainment, a little extrapolation, but I kind of see this as being a short one. Hello, Truth and Justice. Hello, Starbright. Hello, Ronnie. Because, Leticia's done went and made another mistake, and she went to Wisconsin rather than Arkansas. So she got in trouble in Illinois. She's in trouble in Arkansas. I mean, you know how people are like, I want to go to every state in the union, or I want to see every license plate, one from every state. Leticia, I think, is like, I want to be wanted everywhere. I figure after she does the East Coast, she'll go to the West Coast, and then Alaska, and from there head to Hawaii. Hello, Kelly. Hello, everyone I missed. But yes, I'm kind of picturing that Leticia at some point will eventually start from Hawaii so she can go to Asia because there's the maximum amount of people on Earth there to defend. Just saying. Well, Ray, talk about Rich Life here right now. Sure get you ding, just saying. Well, she's not going anywhere. No, she's not, because this bond is a full cash bond. There's no part of it. She has to have the whole, I think there's 5 on one, and 5,000 on one, and then there's another one for an unspecified charge, and it really doesn't matter because she's not getting the first 5,000 one to begin with. So this is going to put a cramp in her breeding program. Now, because she hasn't had the chance to become inseminated again. Though, I wouldn't doubt if she fakes a pregnancy for there. We aren't going to see Leticia. Hello, May. To be honest, we are not going to see Leticia. No, we're not. They're keeping her. Now, the thing is, she's going to have gotten real good treatment in Arkansas jail. She will have probably gotten semi-decent in Illinois. But this is Wisconsin. She was born in Wisconsin. Her birth certificate says on it, Wisconsin. She's just going to be treated like anyone else in Wisconsin. And I do believe that they will take her shit on a lesser level than Arkansas or Illinois, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mom. She's in Jeil, as Rich Life would say, since we haven't had his name come up in chat. Yes, but apparently her dad lives in Wisconsin, and she had some other family in Illinois, and she's run to Wisconsin, and they got her, and they're going to extradite her ass. Now, the question is, I'm not sure where they're extraditing her to, because she has a failure to appear in Illinois. And the Illinois failure appear is an extradition to Arkansas. I mean, the chain of custody of Leticia is, in my opinion, going to be fucked up. Because as I said, she's got outstanding charges. The judge in Arkansas said she had to be there January 19th to face the fact that she didn't show up. But they caught her in Illinois on that charge. And the Illinois was to extradite. Now, the Illinois also has her resisting arrest on it. And I remember that other outstanding charge I mentioned. I believe that is it, but I have no receipt telling me it is it. So, once again, I want to frame it that way. So, it looks like she'll get bounced, in my opinion, bounced to Illinois. And then Illinois will have their extradition hearing, and she will have to face the charge of resisting arrest. Hello, Pindar. So my thought is, they're going to probably let her out on the resisting charge on a never come back warning, in my opinion. Because once again, they don't want, because you noticed before, they didn't want her eating up their services. They wanted to ship her off. So this is why I'm saying that on the resisting charge, as long as they can get rid of her, they will let the resisting charge slide. Now, if they can't get rid of her, if Arkansas, because she is above the 500-mile line. See, Wisconsin is within extradition, easy extradition to Illinois, but Illinois is going to have to ask Arkansas, do you want her? Now, if Arkansas says, we ain't paying to bring that psycho back here, then they will take that resisting charge and they will bap, and they'll put her in on that one. Because then she's going to act crazy and then she's going to go back to the nut house. And either way, it will end all good for everyone. Well, yeah, because this is her third jail time. I mean, she's had 2 jail times for us. Now this is the third, and every time she goes back to jail, we're going to have another Leticia in Chains live. And this is the third time, because when I started to title this, I'm like, this is the third time you had to do this. So I went back to the first one, which was Leticia in Chains. And then I dug up a cute little pic to add to the thumbnail, to make it humorous. Now, likely, she's not going to get out. Now, her only chance of getting out is going to be Wisconsin to Illinois to Arkansas. Just like I said in my video, and Arkansas's like, you know what? Why don't we just let that crazy bitch out? And then she'll get out again. Hello, Kaz. But, that's basically her only path to freedom right now, is if she's taken to Arkansas and they're like, I don't want her in my jail. Just saying. Then Leticia will get out. But other than that, we're not going to be getting any Leticia content. Now, the Leticia lore that is about to be created is going to be priceless. And Adonis Paul is very near dropping Leticia 3. And that's going to be her whole baby post-birth arc. So that will be, and it will all be together and concise. And that will be epic entertainment for us to talk about and enjoy. And while she's in jail, I'll probably, well, they're huge. I mean, they're like 3 hours each. But I might take them in parts while Leticia's in jail and review Leticia part 1, 2, and 3, but do it like half each alive. So it would be 6 lives to get through all 3 parts. Now, I will probably do that just because I'll be able to make that entertaining. I'll be able to make that fun. So, that will be some Leticia content that I will do while she is in her chains. Oh, hello, Paul. Well, as I say, yes, we're having the advertisement for your channel and the great work that you're doing. So, yes, I mean, that makes a wonderful segue. So, yes, if you're not subscribed to Adonis Paul, then you should go do that now. And Once more, now the other funny thing is in jail, they will find out what's deep inside Leticia's butthole. Just saying. Now, I'm about to lose it now. That's where the cartoon avatar comes in. Because when you're about to lose it, you can hit silence and go off to the side. That's the only advantage I feel to a cartoon avatar. But yes, now, this is the interesting thing is, as I stated, she's in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's going to extradite to her failure to appear in Illinois. Now, Illinois, she has the resist charge. I'm recapping for the new people. So, in my opinion, they will get rid of the resist charge if Arkansas takes her. If Arkansas will not take her, they will say, you know what? We do not want her on our nice Illinois streets. And they will hit her with everything they can on that resist charge. Or at least enough to where they can ship her ass off to Arkansas. Now, once again, when she gets to Arkansas, that jailer is going to say, get that crazy bitch out of my jail. And she could be on the street again. And this is her only path to freedom. Now, unfortunately for her, she's been, I just hit a relevant point. She's been analyzed on 3-day stays in Arkansas. She has been analyzed on a 3-day stay in Illinois. That is evidence that she is not crazy. Because she has had 2 complete evaluations. Now, she does her normal shit. She's going to get one of those in Illinois. And if they do the 3 days and ship her back, that'll be 3 places that says she is not crazy. Or not that she has a mental illness. But, that's where we're kind of standing. Oh, now see, one of the reasons why she stays in Arkansas is because she can exploit the system. She's got that down. But she's going to treat every place else like it's Arkansas because she got away with it. And once again, she's going to, in Illinois, I heard her say that before. They couldn't hold me. No, they found her competent. When the professional sat down with her, the professional said, I'm listening to someone giving me a load of bullshit. And they shipped her out. Now, that means with all of her evaluations, she is competent to stand trial. She is competent to face full repercussions of her actions. Hello, Debbie. Actually, Brian, I sound like whatever I want. Now, if you liked her sometime, I could sound like Brian K. because I can do mimicry. Yes, I can. Now, you see, that was good in the criminal world because, once again, if the door was locked, I could get out of the peephole and mimic the person that they would open the door for. And then I could point something in their face. Just saying. After all, I did used to be a bad guy. There's certain skills that actually translate well to YouTube and crime. Just saying. One is knowing what criminals are going to do. Now, Leticia is not a criminal per se, but she does crime. And the reason why she does crime is because she's a crazy-ass bitch that thinks she can get away with it. She is nothing more than an adult child. And that's the worst kind having babies, and this one has a breeder fetish. We have caught her in accidental slips all the time talking about faking it. Now, I do believe she has schizophrenia, and I do believe she has wild imaginations. But other than that, nothing is wrong with her. And if she was on medication, and if you were on medication, we would get a different Leticia. Because I've known 3 schizophrenics on medication. And with my powers of detection, I had no idea until they told me. If she had a guardian, if she had someone to keep her shit straight, and she was on meds, you might get a human being on the other side. I can't say. But, my dealer's wife has schizophrenia. Never knew until she told me. She's competent. She keeps jobs. I mean, she has a life. She stays on her meds. And once again, you would never know she was on. I knew her years and years. Had no idea. And then, because of that, I wanted to pick her brain. And that's where I said that schizophrenia, to me, as a layman, seems like it's a primitive way that the caveman had for an overactive imagination. But they convinced themselves. My last time, it's like convincing myself there's a poisonous snake in here. Hear the rattle? Hear the rattle? Once again, I know there's no poisonous snake in here. But the schizophrenic's imagination is so powerful, they can put a rattlesnake in this container when there's not a rattlesnake in this container. And logic would tell us that this is ibuprofen and there's no rattlesnake in the container. And that, in my layman's term, seems to be what schizophrenia is like. Now, once again, there are different, types. I'm not a professional. We got to get Ken's counseling for that. But that, as a layman, seems what it is to me. Now, when you see her have her wild imaginations, I automatically suppose those are real. Now, the rest of it, she's just lying to me like a little kid. That little girl sitting there, I didn't do that. So, that's typically, what she's doing, in my opinion. I believe she has schizophrenia. And once again, if she had proper medications, you'd get a different Leticia. Now, I'm not saying that this Leticia wouldn't be a shithole. Just saying. Framing it that way. I don't want you to think if she gets on med, everything's better. She still has her behavior issues. And I think that those stem past her schizophrenia, but once more, that's just my layman's opinion. And this is how I believe right now, in what I have said up to this point, frames Leticia. Where she is, where she's going, and what we should expect. Now, once again, that's basically our presentation for today. I did say that this one wouldn't be long. Now, if anyone has any questions about all this, feel free, and we'll bullshit for just a little while before I get out of here. Well, the thing is, as soon as Leticia gets out of jail, she's going to start trying to get pregnant again. This is why I'm really glad she's in before she could start hooking up. Because she's got a good chance of being in there until January. Now, for you or me, it's going to go a lot quicker. Let me see. October, November, December. I mean, that's a whole season. Well, yeah, Kaz. I mean, now typically with schizophrenia, there's other issues too. That's why I was saying, schizophrenia medicine might not be the panacea for her, but I guarantee you're going to get a different Leticia on the other side. Cruiser McHenry. I think he's got his channel name switched around now where it's McHenry Cruiser. He is schizophrenic. And he likes negative attention. He does. I mean, that's a part of his personality. Where he has schizophrenia and he's treated for schizophrenia, he also loves the negative attention. She has had 2 WB, and she also claims to have had a abortion. Now, at some time, I will turn Nicolina to Cruiser McHenry, and it should be funny. Cause, but, that's kind of like rainy day entertainment. It's like when we run out of lolcows after Ernie's in jail. You see, I plan ahead. For everyone here that watches the Nicolina stuff, I'm planning for when Ernie's in jail because I have an entire bag of little monsters you have never seen that, could like throw out for a week, each one of them for a weekend while Ernie's in jail. But Leticia's going to, I predicted a long time ago that, Amberlynn Reed and Foodie Beauty and all them, they are going to be supplanted at some point from Leticia. And at some point, if Leticia stops going to jail, she could actually get a large enough channel to have the things she wanted. Amberlynn Reed makes $10,000, right now with her channel failing, she makes $10,000 a month on YouTube. She makes $120,000 a year. Now, she eats the entire $120,000. Or she pisses it away in trinkets. That's Amberlynn Reed. But in reality, with around, let's see, what was Amber at when I started? I guess she's like 126,000 subscribers. She started making around that 10,000 threshold and became the lolcow everyone watched. And she still managed to massage to keep around that 10,000 a month. Like I just mentioned with Leticia, I do expect her channel to grow. I expect it to get big because in reality, people are getting kind of tired of the big girls. And I also noticed that a lot of the creators I knew that covered Amberlynn are now starting to mention Leticia's name. And this is how it starts. And once again, when they finally get over here, they're going to be looking at me. It's like, yes, I've been here all along. Hello, Blonde. And hello to everyone I missed. Sorry, because I'm in the middle of presentation. Some streams are more social, some is just straight presentation, and this is one of them, because this is a live that's Leticia for the record. And that's why I'm talking about her future. Because in reality, on YouTube, in 10 years, 7 years, Leticia could make a really good income on YouTube. Now, once again, Leticia enabled with money. Whoa, I mean, can you imagine Leticia being able to afford what she wants? And she could do it. I mean, it's like right now, she has an 8,000 subscriber channel. That's the start. And once again, see, the people invested deepest in YouTube have found her, us. But when the normals find her, that just kind of walk by YouTube and giggle at whatever they see on the screen, there are 10 times those than there are of us. And when this happens, Leticia's channel will grow by leaps and bounds. As you noticed, it has been. And it's because many of these drive-by people are just now finding her because of these other reaction channels that used to do large girl content. And I want you to prepare that her channel is going to blow up. And why? Because there is an attention void. Amberlynn Reed is disgusting. Foodie Beauty content's disgusting. I want nothing to do with it. But you know what? That's how, once again, I'm usually ahead of the curve. And everyone else is going to be following me in that same feeling. And, hello, Nicolina. And that's going to blow up Leticia. Now, the thing is, Leticia now being in jail is going to hurt that. Because, everything has its season. So, yes, I mean, and all of this is hilarious in the end. I need to say this to help wrap this up. If she would have just went to the court in the first place, she would have probation. She would have just got a slap on the wrist. She may even have that baby in housing. And if so, I mean, we would be spinning our heads around. So, we all have to look at this as a win. We'll have Leticia back to poke fun at, and Leticia may have helped shot herself in the foot on growing a large channel, because once again, we're going to have 4 to 6 months that someone else really funny can come up, and I have been finding some really funny people. I have. Like, online dating pimp. The Boit has found him, and the Boit is running him around like a circle. He's a 40-some man that wants a girlfriend, and he talks anything but respectful, and his channel is Online Dating Pimp. Now, I screened him to see, are you just a sad soul? No, he's a fucking asshole. So, once again, before I unleash the hounds on anyone, I screen them. And I have screened him enough to say, I find 0 redeeming human qualities. So now and then I'm going to be linking his stuff, and I encourage you girls to troll him, because he wants a girlfriend. And it's kind of fucking Chris Chan, like I'm just saying. With a girlfriend obsession, and it looks like he's in an attic room, and he has no self-awareness. And once again, that makes a great lolcow, no self-awareness. Well, that's the thing, Nicolina. She's now going to do that in Wisconsin. Now, you were gone for this, but I had a relevant point I think you will like. She's had a 3-day evaluation in Arkansas. They said you're sane. She had a 3-day stay in Illinois. They said, you're sane. Here you go out the door. Now she's in Wisconsin. And as you said, she will smear shit on the walls. And if they send her to Wisconsin, she will have another place that's going to ship her out the door sane. And that will be 3 evaluations in 3 different states that says Leticia is competent. That does not look good for Leticia's case or her narrative. Just a second. That's his channel. And all he does gets on is basically begging for a girlfriend. He will go on a Omegle and he will just cuss at people left and right. He'll have fits because a man come up, or if a girl comes up and it's not within the range he wants to travel because evidently he don't have a car, he'll throw a fit at him, or, and he'll throw a fit at underage girls, or girls will see him and cringe, and he'll have a meltdown on them. Well, yeah, he's been coming on. Like I said, he has no redeeming quality. And personally, I feel the ladies need to put him in his place. And you are the ladies to do it. So once again, I have been looking for adventurous things, and there are plenty of diversions. Now, I think it's going to be funny that we're probably going to have Ernie in jail and Leticia at the same time. So I like it. People say, you don't have no content. I'm like, bullshit. I have plenty of content. And I get to sit here and smile because both Ernie and Leticia will be in jail. And the thing is Thelma's in jail, in my opinion. Why do I say this? Because Jimbo's not gone on and thrown Velma in her face. That's my theory. But that's just a theory. This is a flimsy one. But, my ipso facto logic is if Velma wasn't incarcerated or in some real trouble, he would display her like a trophy. Well, this weekend is Ernie's last weekend before he goes to court. Now, this won't be his trial part, but he's going for his pre-trial. And this will be fun. Now, once again, if he pees dirty, he's going away. Now, that means this weekend, Ernie can't do any meth. So that means he's not going to be happy, Ernie. Now, if you hear snorting Ernie this weekend, you can expect that he could fail a piss test and go to JEIL, as Rich Life would say. Now, Rich Life is already back, and Rich Life, I said I wouldn't bother him. He goes on, G Mango's running his mouth against me. I just showed a few people here who he was. He came in running his mouth about me. He ran to a mutual friend running his mouth. She came into chat yesterday because he's bothering her. So, I have a policy with that. I'm not putting up with this bullshit. So, I can see the next time that it happens, I am going to start covering all of his lives, and I am going to start poo-pooing him again, because I can do that with one arm tied behind my back in just an extra video a day. So yes, that's how it's going to work with Rich Life. Now, unfortunately, I really like my friend, but, I'm a creature of lines. I'm not just going to keep bending. We've hit that line. I'm at my line. We go over this line, there's a status change. Because I'm at this point of I'm not putting up with this bullshit. Because this is what Rich Life always does with everyone. He tries to drive wedges and then turn people against each other so he can get enabled. This is a part of his cycle. Well, Kaz, maybe. But, he's got to clean out in case they piss test him. He has to. Now, he may not. That's all up to Ernie. And he may get lucky and slide and not get one. That's why they call them random. But, I do expect that. Now, I don't expect him to go to jail this time. Unless he severely has fucked up. I expect the next court date will be probably trial. And that will be the important one. Now, the thing is if someone could get Ernie talking and could get him to explain it all, we could compare that story to what's going on in court records in the end. Just saying. Now, anyone that really wants to could go up there to Richmond and go to the court. That's about 45 minutes away from where I'm sitting. Madison County, now this will be an interesting thing. Madison County is mainly two communities, Richmond and Berea. Richmond is kind of like an outer suburb of Lexington at this point because Lexington has grown so far out now. Used to be there was farmland separation between the two. And Berea now and Richmond have kind of run together. And Berea is a college town. It has a Walmart. It's much smaller. It's right next to the interstate. And it has a world-class arts college there. I mean, believe it or not. And then you go to the next exits, and that's where I live. Then you go to a couple exits down from me, and that's where the Jimbo lives. To kind of give you guys a framing so, you can kind of understand the dynamic of what we're saying. It's basically up and down the I-75 corridor. Why would I, Stoonie? Now, the thing is, we will have a lot more Leticia talk, and of course, Nicolina's going to have Ernie talk, and then after Nicolina's done with her Ernie talk, I'm predicting, after his court, then we'll have Roger Relevant talk. after what we find out. Now, as I said, this will be a pre-trial. Now, the big thing we're getting out of what Ernie goes to court will be his next court date. Now, usually Kentucky, what they do is they have like a set of judges, and then they go through a circuit between the counties. So they'll be like in Rockcastle 2 days a week. Then they'd be in Pulaski 2 days a week. Then they'd be in Laurel for another 2 days a week. Now, Madison County is on a different circuit. So they're basically going to have the same thing. So they usually, because that's how all Kentucky counties do. They get a few counties together, and then they have a group of judges rotate around them a couple days a week. They usually take it about a month later. So it looks like, in my opinion, Ernie's next court date should fall somewhere around Halloween. And that's the one to where there could be a trial date set. Now, Ernie can file motions for continuance. He can get 3. So he could drag that out 3 months by just each month when they set the court date, going there and filing continuances. Now, also, the prosecution can get 3 continuances too. So that's why I'm trying to frame you guys for the understanding of what we're all going to go through. Now, Ernie being Ernie, when they set the trial date, I expect he will go for a continuance. And I expect he will go for a continuance. And I expect he will go for another continuance, in my opinion. Now, once again, if someone was going to spend some time in jail, it would be better to do it in the winter months. So, in my opinion, it would be best if Ernie did not do the continuances and just face it. Because you're going to at some point anyway. And once again, I'd rather do 90 days in jail in November, December, and January than, do it when it's nice out. Well, Pindar, the defense can get 3 continuances, and the prosecution can 3 continuances. And generally in Kentucky, they schedule a month out. So Ernie himself can string this out 3 months. Now, he could have already got a continuance, but I do not think he has. Now, basically, Ernie just says, I'm not ready. And he just does that by not having a lawyer. Now, he doesn't have property, so I'm pretty sure he's going to get a public pretender. Now, he can ask that public pretender to just put it off and get the continuance, and because of the caseload on the public pretenders, he will likely do that. Well, that's why I'm getting everyone here ready for it. We talked about Leticia and law, and this kind of flows into Ernie and where we're going to be going also with content. So, that's why I find this relevant and not just to do as a separate video. Because, once again, Leticia is going to be going through the court case system, and so's Ernie. Now, justice is not swift, unless you can get it thrown out. Now, that would be Ernie's only advantage to doing this. If I think I can get it thrown out in 3 months, by using my 3 continuances, it's worth doing. If you think you can find a way to manipulate it in your favor in that time, that's the only thing that would be useful. If he thinks that there's a way that I can make restitution and dodge it. Now, once again, if I was Ernie, if he paid back for the van the full amount, he could probably just walk out with just a slap on the wrist, because he will have made full restitution. Now, we know Ernie's not the kind of guy that makes full restitution on his own. But we do know that there are a couple people that's willing to let off some money, and one of them is very friendly with Benny Keys. we will just say. And as we know, Ernie wants to be friends with Benny Keys now. And so you see where I'm going with this. You know, when it comes to people like Ernie, there's always a method to the madness. But yes, Tony, but in Kentucky, he can only get 3 of those motions. So he could put it off a few months. And they would skip. Now, the holidays, it might be a little more than a few months because they might take a couple weeks they aren't scheduling. So, you know, he could put it off about 4 months at best. But then you'd have to go to jail when the weather was nice. And once again, if I think I'm going to get what I'm going to get anyway, it would be better to do it when it was in the colder months. But Ernie isn't the kind of guy that faces repercussions. You know, he's not the kind of guy that will just take it on the teeth because it's the thing you have to do. He's a worm, and he's going to worm his way out of it, or try to anyway. So yes, you know, I'm expecting, you know, once again, we will get a trial date out of his court date. And then at that court date, I expect continuance, a month later court date, a continuance, and a month later, another continuance. Because Ernie isn't a face the repercussion kind of guy. You know, it would be best for him if he got it over with, but that's not Ernie. It would be best if he went ahead with those continuance and made full restitution ahead of time, but that's not Ernie. Yes, Pindar. Now, in this pre-file conference, what I didn't say is they will offer him his deal. Now, the only reason why I didn't mention this important fact is this is Ernie's shell, and he is not going to accept any deal. He's going to say, "Not guilty, Your Honor. I'm a lightning liger." Well, Kentucky, I don't have any proof, but my circumstantial evidence is if she wasn't in custody, Jimbo would have paraded her like a trophy. That's my theory, and that's all that it's based on. So take it for that. Well, yes, Pindar. Hello, yeah, Mom. But that's what Ernie's going to do. So once again, I expect it to be stretched out. So we have into September, October, November. And once again, it'd be towards the end of December. And because of the Christmas and the holidays, they'll probably be switching this towards an end of a January. So with his three continuances, he can probably put it all off a reckoning until January. Now, if for some reason a prosecutor once says, you know, I'm not ready for this, he too has his 3 continuances. Now, it's very rare for a prosecutor to do this unless there is a scheduling conflict with a witness. You know, if he can't get a specific witness there until a date, a prosecutor might take one of his continuances out of his belt and use it. So this is what I expect. You know, I expect him to drag this out till the end of January. And once again, if a witness can appear, it would end up in February. And that's kind of where we're going. Because by right, Ernie will get his 3 continuances by just saying, I'm not ready. And the public pretenders, to lighten their load, always just say, yeah. And then they say that to the court, and the court just gives it to them. So, you know, that's really where we stand with Ernie. You know, nothing big other than his date is going to come out of it. And once we get that date, you know, then we start figuring in his continuances in it. Now, the interesting thing is going to be is some of his pretrial conditions. Okay, I'm getting attacked. Well, We have now entered the Richella part of our program. She didn't know I was in here. She has just discovered that I am in here streaming, for I was asleep earlier. And now she must come in here. She's about to try to block people with her tail. Okay, let me put you in my shirt to block you in the serpent tail. There you go, and let me pick this up, because reasons. Here comes summer. Well, I've basically wrapped up my important parts, and I am about to get overrun in small furry mammals. And although they're cute, I really need to get up myself and do things, but it's cooler here now. So they want to lay on me because I'm warm. Oh yes, and one funny thing that I'm going to tell myself before I go. I mean, when I've gone to bed the last 5 nights, I go into my living room. I have a gold pillow. There's a wild cat every night when I go to bed that is sitting on that gold pillow. A cat that does not belong in this house. He is not my cat. And every time I go to bed, he's just there and he's looking at me. And I'm like, what are you doing in my house? And then I go to bed. And usually his brother, who's also a wild cat that is not my cat, but it is Richella's father. Now, Richella's father usually sits on the box. Now, and he sleeps in the same way. Now, the last 2 days I've went in there, Richella's father has been sleeping in my bed. And then he sees me, he's like, oh shit, I'm caught. And he is a wildcat. So yes, this is an interesting Roger thing. I thought about filming this, but I really don't feel like humiliating myself. So why don't I just humiliate myself verbally at the end of a live? So with that funny thought, I am going to get out of here. And you will probably see me on my other channel later tonight, because I've not been feeling well, and have a good night.